says that 1986-87 era in World Class when the UWF took so many of the promotion's top stars, and how did Gary handle that period?
Well, that had gone back to like about 84 when Dad came back in with Chris Adams, because Fritz was concerned that he didn't really trust Ken Mantell's judgment and thought that maybe he was going to abscond with some talent, which he eventually did, but Dad got fired about a year later. But that was the cog that brought Dad and Abdullah to come back. Dad to bring Abdullah in here because Dad was working for Fred Barron in San Antonio, and he didn't want to be there anymore. He was taking independent shots with Brody and Uncle Kevin, Uncle Mark. And right after
Kevin
Texas
Sullivan.
yes,
Mark Lowen.
yes, right after Texas Stadium '86, it was either the TV the night, because that was on a Sunday. We always had TV on Monday. It was either the TV right after Texas Stadium or the week after, where Ken had absconded with all the talent and took them to the UWF, which had been Mid-South at the time. David Manning had got a hold of Dad and said, hey, can you come to the Sportatorium? I'd like to talk to you. And this is roughly May, second, third week of May '86. And Dad goes, yeah, sure. Dad goes out to the Sportatorium. He goes, Ken has left. Can you come back? And
David told
Dad, he goes, Ken has left, and he's taking a lot of the guys with him. So can you come back in and help us run this place? Fritz had wanted Dad to take the job back, but Dad said the whole thing that had happened in '82 was still a sore spot with Dad. Dad goes, no, but I'll come back. And so they figured out to bring the thing with Abdullah, and they brought Abdullah in. Now this is where in wrestling you can take advantage of something that already happened and use it to your storyline for those of you who are into that kind of thing. The Freebirds all left, and the one-man gang, they took off. So when Dad brought in Abdullah, he said when the Freebirds heard Abdullah was coming, they had to leave, which isn't true, but we took advantage of what was going on. When the big one-man gang who Dad had split with heard Abdullah was coming, he had to leave.
Yeah.
And then just take something that's already in existence and work it into how it actually works for you. But it's the way Dad handled that. Dad always was very good at being able to do things on the fly, and Fritz always trusted Dad, so Dad was like, no, Ken? No problem, I'll come back. And then Dad eventually left again in '88 when Ken came back. But that's basically how Dad handled that. And business was down considerably because no more Ric Flair, and Gino had just died, and Kerry had that motorcycle wreck, which we lost him for over a year. That hurt us more than anything. Yeah. And then Lance Von Erich, that didn't help. But that was a very difficult time for the business, and had it not been for Dad, Brody, Chris Adams, who later got into trouble a few months later, and Kevin Von Erich, we'd really been reaching. And it got dire. It got tremendously difficult.